Hello and welcome back, audience. My name is MassiveBrad and welcome back to my FIFA 19 One Season Wonder. Now, before we get into today's episode, I just want to say a huge big thank you for the love and support on the channel. And as always, guys, at the start of these episodes, we're quickly going to look at what games we have in today's episode. Now, we have just moved into the month of February. Episode 8, Season 1, Episode 8 was an absolute killer for me because we started it with only 5 games being in January. We ended up playing a total of 9 games, and the heat in the UK right now is not a situation where you want to be sat in front of a computer and an Xbox that's letting off so much heat. The sun's beaming in on the window. I've got the blind down right now, but I can feel the heat coming in. You guys might be able to hear the fan in front of me. I've got to have a fan to stop me from sweating because that last episode I was sweating like a goddamn pig. But we finished off January. I'd done the last 10 hours of the transfer window all off camera because realistically I wasn't looking to sign in anyone, and there was only really a right back that I may look at in hope to kind of help us out, considering Kyle Walker is still out with an injury. But we've now got Zinchenko back, who's a left back, so we've got other players now that we can play at right back and rotate while Kyle Walker is sadly out. But we move in now to the month of February, and we're starting today's episode, episode 9, with only 4 games. We've got Arsenal in the Premier League at home, Borussia Dortmund in the round of 16 Champions League, Everton in the Premier League away from home, and West Ham in the Premier League at home. So realistically, we start February with only 4 games. I'm not going to say that's all we're going to see in today's episode because, like I said, in the last episode, there was 5 games. We ended up having 9 games in the whole episode. And then we move into the month of March because I was looking for when we play the Carabao Cup. That game right now is the final. We've got our finalists. It's going to be Liverpool, which I'm not too happy about because obviously I support Liverpool and I don't want to do them over. I had to do them over in the last episode, but obviously there's a cup on the line, so we'll have to do our best. But as we move into March, there's already 7 games in there. 5 of them, being Premier League games, 1 of them being the final of the Carabao Cup, and then 1 of them being the second leg against Dortmund. I'm not sure whether it's going to pop up and say some of these games from March are going to be rescheduled and brought into the month of February, or maybe pushed back to April. But I'll find it absolutely amazing if we only play 4 games into these episodes because it doesn't tend to happen. Things get rescheduled, new competitions get put in there. Obviously, we haven't got an FA Cup game right now. Have we got any more FA Cup? See, there's no game in there for the FA Cup. Now we're through to the next round of the FA Cup. Is it Millwall? We beat Millwall 4-0. We don't have an FA Cup game between now and the end of the season, so I'm sure that's going to get thrown in there. So you just have to bear with me, guys. But the plan right now is I'm going to play Arsenal. I'm going to play Borussia Dortmund and then simulate Everton and West Ham. Now, obviously, if another game gets thrown in there like an FA Cup game, that's fine. We'll simulate that one because if there was 5 games, half of 5 is 2.5. We always round it down, which means I'd only be allowed to play 2 games and simulate 3. Of course, if 2 games get thrown in there, you guys will have 3 games played and 3 games simulated. But I think what we'll do is we'll keep checking on the calendar. So after we play Arsenal, we'll get all the way to the Borussia Dortmund game, check the calendar. Things might need to change up, obviously, if there's bigger games that we may need to play. Obviously, if another 2 games get thrown in there, 1 being an FA Cup game, 1 being a Premier League game. Obviously, I would rather favour play the FA Cup game, but we will have to wait and see. But as I was saying, guys, it is roasted in the UK. I'm sure you guys will have seen stuff all over social media if you're from the UK about ice creams and ways to keep your bed nice and cool, putting the pillows in the fridge, putting, the duvet in the freezer. It's so hot right now, and today it's just been an absolute madness for weather. We've had rain, thunderstorms, lightning, sun. It's been crazy, but all I'm going to tell you is I'm already sweating. Even with the fan on, it's absolutely roasting. So I just want to dive straight into this. We're grinding it out. We're currently a game behind Manchester United, but currently 7 points behind. We could reduce that to 4 points if we beat Arsenal. That's exactly why I'm playing the Arsenal game. We've also got Arsenal breathing right down our necks. So if we were to lose it, they would move up to 51 points and only be 1 point behind us. And that is why I have to play this game, because we need to make sure that we're not also winning trophies. We also want to potentially win the Premier League. But this is the lineup we are putting out against Arsenal. We've got Raheem Sterling out on the left wing, Sergio Aguero at striker, Mahrez out on the right wing, Bernardo Silva linking up with De Bruyne in the central midfield role. A little deeper, we've got Fernandinho in the central defensive midfield, and then Jordi Alba, Laporte, Stones and Danilo at the back, with Ederson between the sticks. Let's go ahead and get into this game. We are at the Etihad Stadium, facing off against the Gunners. I'm feeling pretty positive, and with the lineup that we've got right there, I have no doubt that we should do a job against Arsenal. What we have to remember is we put this lineup out a few times in the last episode, and when we come to simulating games, we did unfortunately lose them, and we also drew to Accrington Stanley. So let's hope we get off to a better start in today's episode, and hopefully get wins throughout the whole entire episode. Guys, I can only apologise again if you can't unfortunately hear the fan. Obviously the microphone is a studio professional microphone. It picks up the littlest of things. I've got the door behind me open, so I don't know if you guys are going to be able to hear any background noise, but I'm pretty sure you're going to be able to hear the fan rotating. Can only apologise over that. Hopefully the UK will start to cool down and I can get back to what I'm normally doing, but I just know in the last episode I recorded for over 2 hours, maybe 2 hours 15, 2 hours 20 minutes. And it was just unbelievable heat, absolutely ridiculous heat, so hard to concentrate. I felt by the end of it, I was not far off fainting. Hopefully with this fan now, it should make me feel a little bit better. I can certainly feel the coolness on my legs, and I can only apologise if you guys can hear the fan. But let's get this first half kicked off against Arsenal with Aguero. Let's get it underway, and let's hopefully score some goals. There's De Bruyne to Mahrez. There's Silva. Back to Mahrez. De Bruyne. Aguero. Aguero now going to take. Get it onto his right foot. Let one fly. Check follows up. Sterling's there just by the goal. Unbelievable start there. Raheem Sterling turning on the Jets. Getting a bit of pace in behind. Gets his head to it. Sadly puts it wide of goal and into the side net. And it was close though. And a great start for Manchester City. Pael from the back. Nicely done. It's Fernandinho. Up to De Bruyne. Here we go. We should have someone making a nice run now. Aguero in behind. Aguero! Oh, it should be in the back of the net. Sterling going to follow this one up. Nice little feet there from Sterling. Ball in now. Looking for KDB. It's cleared away. We're going right back here. Mahrez chasing this down from Kimpembe. There's Kolasinac. Ramsey into the middle now for Aubameyang. Come on, Fernandinho. I need you closing that down. Ball into the middle. Dennis Suarez is there. It's 1-0 Arsenal. I said moments ago, Arsenal were passing nicely and they were certainly getting a bit of build-up. They eventually get through on goal. Dennis Suarez, the danger man in the box, slots one past Ederson. We're 1-0 down. It was too easy. Look at this, straight into the box, on his left foot, outside the boot, back of the net. Silva comes away with that ball. I'm going to ping one straight over the top now to get Sterling in behind. What a ball. Sterling is going to be in behind here now. Here comes Sterling. Come on, Aguero, stand off for me. Aguero! Check saves. Unbelievable save there from Petr Cech. Nicely done. Let's play it over this far side now to Mahrez. Mahrez trying to cut in now. Mahrez tries to shoot. Kimpembe gets a foot in there and it's cleared away. And we're going in at the Etihad Stadium 1-0 down at half time to Arsenal. We've certainly played well. We just haven't had the clear-cut chances we needed. I mean, Arsenal having one shot, one on target, back of the net. We've had 5 shots, 4 on target. Struggling right now to put one in the back of the net. I thought it was actually Bernardo Silva we had in the team. It's not. It's actually David Silva. I'm now going to replace him with Bernardo Silva to bring a little bit more pace to that midfield. He's certainly slowing up a little bit. He's getting a little bit old now. So I think just the one change at half time is all we need to do right now. We've got to get into the second half with Aubameyang kicking us off. Let's just hope we can find this first goal to pull it back to level terms in the next 10-15 minutes. There's Aubameyang, nicely done. Bernardo Silva straight in there. There's Aguero. Out wide now to Sterling. Sterling looking at getting in behind. This is nice right now. Let's wait for a few more bodies in the middle. KDB's there. It's 1-1. Well, 2 minutes into the second half and we've already found the equaliser. That's what we needed. That's what we were fighting for in the first half. It didn't come for us, but we've now found it early on in the second half, and hopefully we can continue to do what we've done in the first half. We should be able to find the second, maybe even a third, to finish this game off, because realistically we've definitely on paper and in game been the better team. Let's try and close this down. Ozil again coming forwards now. Ozil doesn't seem to want to be passing the ball too much. Jordi Alba's on that one. John Stones straight up now to KDB, going straight through now to Aguero. Beautiful bit of football here. Through to Sergio Aguero to slot home, and check saves. I don't think we're going to find this last goal that we need. I don't think it's going to happen. Here's Sane. Fernandinho out now to Jordi Alba. Alba on the inside to Bernardo Silva, going forwards now to Jesus. Jesus has got a chance here. Jesus coming forwards. Gabriel Jesus. De Bruyne to follow up. It's off the post. Oh, Arsenal, you have got so lucky there, and the referee blows for full time.
And nothing between these two teams. Well, they've ended up with a point.
We've drawn with the Gunners, not the result I wanted. We literally came seconds at the end of that game to winning it. Oh, Jesus through on goal. Check saves. De Bruyne goes to hit it in an empty goal. He has to give it tight angle because Petr Cech's getting back up. And he hits the post. Look at the stats. 13 shots, 10 on target. We only score 1 goal from those stats. Arsenal had 1 shot, 1 on target. They score from it. And we managed to only get a draw out of that game. It's a little bit heartbreaking. Raheem Sterling picks up man of the match for a 9.4 rating. And we advance into our next game. We just have to keep our heads held high and hopefully get a better result in the next game, because we cannot afford to draw and lose games after games. It will not do us any favour in this one-season wonder series. Right guys, so here we are at match day, about to face off against Borussia Dortmund in the round of 16 Champions League first leg. We've got them in a second leg in the month of March. We haven't got them in February. It's a month away until we play them in the second leg. What I've now decided, which I'll show you guys, but obviously I always check before just in case. If we go over to the calendar, you can see we've got Borussia Dortmund there. We have now had another game thrown in there, and that is Aston Villa in the round of 16 in the Emirates FA Cup. Now, the whole point of one season wonder is to win as much as we possibly can in one season. The first season we took on Manchester City, as we are now. The issue I've got is, let's say we play the Dortmund game and we win 3-0, that's great. But then we simulate the game against Aston Villa and we lose. Well, we're out of the FA Cup, so we haven't got a chance of winning the FA Cup anymore. The whole point of this series is to take over a team, use the money wisely and try and win as much as we can. That's the whole point. One season wonder. You know, we have a wonderful season within one season and win as much as we can. So I've decided now that game's been thrown in there. We're going to simulate the first leg against Borussia Dortmund, because if we move into March, we actually play them on the 6th of March. So we can play the second leg. Now, obviously, in that episode right there now, there's 7 games. So we'd get a choice of playing 3. Well, that's pretty straightforward. So we're playing Liverpool in the final. We're playing the second leg against Borussia Dortmund. And we're playing Manchester United because they're top of the league and we need to get some points on them. Obviously, if we play Chelsea and we win, that's great. Beat Watford, beat Fulham, beat Bournemouth. But then we lose to United. If United keep going in their winning ways and we don't stop them and actually play the game against them, they may go on to win the title, and that's not what we want. Now, unfortunately, I would have played the Borussia Dortmund game if the Aston Villa game hadn't popped up. Unfortunately, as I say, there's 5 games now. We have to play 2 of them. So I'm going to change it. We're going to play against Villa. And we're going to simulate this game against Borussia Dortmund. Hopefully that is, you know, you guys understand that obviously it's 5 games. We can only play 2. We have to simulate 3. I think it's probably better that we simulate the first leg against Dortmund, because if we get a win, great. If we don't, then at least we've got a second leg to try and turn it round. Though obviously we're away from home, so away goals are going to be very important. So if we can score a few, that would be very nice indeed. And this is the team to hopefully go and put some past Borussia Dortmund. We've got Raheem Sterling out on the left wing, Sergio Aguero striker, Dembele out on the right wing, Bernardo Silva this time round linking up with De Bruyne in the central midfield role. We've got Fernandinho a little deeper in the central defensive midfield, and then Albert, Laporte, Otamendi and Danilo at the back, with Ederson between the sticks. Now I'm going to have to be very careful with Bernardo Silva and David Silva. David Silva used to be an 89 and Bernardo Silva was an 87. The game that I just played then, both of them were 88. So Bernardo Silva's gone up to an 88 and David Silva's come down to an 88 from an 89. For some reason, David Silva's gone back up to an 89 now. So if they both end up being 88 rating, I'm not really sure how I'm going to be able to tell the difference between them when we look at that screen. So maybe I'll just have to say Silva linking up with De Bruyne. But regardless, guys, it's a big game up next. It's the round of 16 in the Champions League. We're simulating the first leg. Can we potentially get a win and score some away goals as these players warm up? Let's get it in, get it into gear, get it kicked off, and let's see what damage we can do. So we're 10 minutes in and nothing has happened just yet. Fast approaching 20 minutes. We're past the 20-minute mark now. We're fast approaching half-time at this point now. Into the 30th minute. We're in half an hour. Wow, look at this. First half, nothing has happened whatsoever. We're into the second half. Both teams must be playing a lot of possession. Jesus has now come on from Aguero. Sane on for Dembele. Bernardo Silva scored in the 68th minute. We're 1-0 up against City. Fernandinho's picked up an injury in the 80th minute, which is not what we wanted to hear. But we do manage to get the win. We score that one important away goal thanks to Bernardo Silva. Sane come on for Dembele and done nothing. Jesus on for Aguero and done nothing. And unfortunately, Fernandinho has now picked up an injury in the 80th minute. Fingers crossed it's not going to be too bad. We'll get back to the centre and have a little look over it. But you know what? I'll take a 1-0 away from home in the first leg against Dortmund, because now we're going to play the second leg. And as long as they don't score away goals, I think we should be through to the next stages of the Champions League. So we've now advanced all the way to the Villa game, which we're facing off against them in the round 5 at the FA Cup. We've had some good news and we've had some bad news. Obviously, you guys know in that simulated game against Borussia Dortmund, Fernandinho did pick up an injury. And as we go into the inbox, the first bit of good news is the medical staff have cleared Kyle Walker to return from his injury so he can rejoin the first team squad training sessions. He is fully fit and he's got a plaster next to his name, but I'm going to save him for some of the other games. Although we're not going to be playing any other games, I don't want to rush him back when they've still got a plaster next to their name. Here's a little tip for you guys. If they still have a plaster next to their name, there's a chance they can go back into a long-term injury. So when the plaster's there, it means, yeah, they're back in the training and stuff, but if it was his hamstring's not fully healed yet. If you play him, there's a chance his hamstring will go again and he can be out for a while. I know this because when I first got this game, I actually done a Spurs career mode, and Eriksen picked up an injury, broke his elbow, so he was out for 6 months. After 6 months, as soon as he was back and fully fit, he had a plaster next to him, I played him, and he injured his elbow again. It broke again, and was out for another 6 months. So I'm not going to risk it, but there's a little bit of good news. Our solid right back, Kyle Walker, is back in training, and will be back in the team in the next game or two. The bad news is Fernandinho has suffered a torn hamstring and will be out for about 6 weeks, which puts him out for about a month and a half. So he won't be in any of the games in the rest of today's episode in February, and he won't be back now till the end of March. And obviously, the medical staff or the senior physiotherapist has said that they'll do what they can to get him back into training according to the above timeline. That can sometimes be less. Kyle Walker is actually back 2 weeks early. He shouldn't be back till the end of February, and he's already back. So I'm very happy with that news, but not so happy that Fernandinho is now out for 6 weeks. I'm confident against Villa, and I've actually put out a few different players that will normally start in this team. And as you can see, there's a few big names still in there, because obviously we want to win this. But there's also some players, or should I say, probably 2 players that don't usually get in the team. We've got Raheem Sterling out on the left wing, Jesus at striker, Dembele out on the right wing. We've then got David Silva, linking up with a player that doesn't normally get a start for us, and that is Akia Gundogan in the central midfield roles. And then a little deeper, we've got the youngster Gomez. He's just turned to a 70 rating. He's one of the players that I am training on the player development. If we take a look there, Claudio Gomez, he's just turned to a 70 overall rating. I thought against Villa, let's give him a chance. Obviously, Fernandinho's just got injured. Now, Thomas Partey, we need to keep him nice and fit for the big games, and I'm probably going to rotate him, Thomas Partey and Gundogan at the CDM position while Fernandinho is out. We've then got Albert, Laporte, Stones and Danilo at the back with Edison between the sticks. I'm excited for this game. I do like the FA Cup games, the Carabao Cup games, the Champions League games. I like Premier League games, but obviously I like it when we're progressing nicely. We're playing slightly easier teams than what we would be in the Premier League. And I'm hoping that on paper we should absolutely annihilate Aston Villa, who are in real life a newly promoted team to the Premier League. We should do them over at Villa Park, and we should progress through to the next stages of the FA Cup. Well, let's hope we now continue our winning ways. We've just beaten Borussia Dortmund 1-0 in a simulated game. We didn't get off to the best of start in today's episode when we drew against Arsenal, but I suppose it's better than a loss. We still got a point out of it. We're down to the last 16 of the FA Cup. We've got a solid squad here. And I am hopeful as Abraham kicks us off for this first half, that we can score a couple of goals and hopefully have this put to bed by half time. Win the header. Silva's there. Gundogan tries to take it down. Gundogan again, still going. Plays it now to Dembele. Through on goal! It's off the post. Dembele's not there to follow it up. Let's keep that in. No, it's going to go out for a City throw-in. There's Gundogan. Claudio Gomez going to take it down on the volley. Big strike, but it's straight at the keeper, no problem. Aston Villa have been solid against us so far. Gomez does well to get that one. Play it into the middle now. Jesus potentially going to want to go here. Let's try and get Jesus in behind. He should have the pace on these defenders. Cuts in onto his right foot. And it's a big save again from the keeper. There's David Silva. Cuts in nicely. Tries to get a shot off. It's not going to happen. It's cleared away and the referee is now going to blow for half time. I think Aston Villa have been pretty solid, if I'm completely honest. I don't feel like we've been the better team. I don't know what the stats are going to say. I'm quickly going to check to see what foot or preferred foot Gomez is. So footy is right-footed, so if we do get a chance to shoot with him again, we want to be taking on his right foot. I think we had a shot of his left foot, and it wasn't too bad, so his weak foot shouldn't be too bad. But I'm going to jump back into the second half for exactly the same team. I'm hoping Sterling and Jesus And Dembele can kind of sort us out in this second half, because we certainly weren't clinical enough in the first half. Dembele going to try and win the header. He has done. He's headed it on to Jesus. He's going to take a touch and play it through now to Dembele. Dembele coming forward. He's going to cut back onto his left foot. Dembele looks like getting a shot off. Aston Villa are throwing their bodies on the line right now to keep this at 0-0. We get this ball and they could be in trouble here. We win that header. It's not going to happen. He's going to flick it on. Win the header now. Abraham's there, luckily enough. So was Edison. Let's ping this one out now. Looking for Aguero or somebody to run onto. The keeper's going to come out for that one. Into Sterling now. Darting his way into the box. Trying to play it in now. Into Aguero. And it's into the back of the net. In the 88th minute, I couldn't have asked for anything more. Couldn't have asked for anything more there. We got a little bit lucky. I mean, this pass here from Sterling to Aguero. I nearly said Jesus because I know Jesus was on the pitch. I forgot we brought Aguero on for a split second. Sergio. And as he scores in the 89th minute, surely they're not going to score and take this back to drawing terms at 1-1. And Alba picks that one up. Let's play it out from the back. Here we go. Go into Gomez. This could be nice football here. Gomez going to ping one over now to Raheem Sterling. If he gets a nice touch on it, in which he has, he might be able to get away from these players. Referee! It's going to be a penalty. Wow. It's a yellow card for Neil Taylor. It's a terrible tackle. He understood what he was trying to do. He thought he was going to get to the ball. I pushed the ball ahead a little bit. Sterling come in, rode the tackle. We've now got a penalty with Aguero. Can we slot this home? Sergio Aguero does just that as he sends the keeper the wrong way. It's 2-0 in the 92nd minute. This game is put to bed and I'm so glad it's not going to go to a replay. Because the replay probably would have been in this month and it would have been a nightmare for us. Now we potentially just have 2 Premier League games to box off this episode. Both of them also going to be simulated. Come on, there we go. The referee blows for full time. We've beaten Aston Villa and knocked them out of the FA Cup after beating them 2-0. Sergio Aguero is the man to score 2. One right on the edge of the goal. Does very well to just ping it past the keeper. And the second coming from a penalty. Unbelievable. Neil Taylor, I mean, realistically, it doesn't matter what he did. They were already losing 1-0. We had 15 shots, 8 on target. Raheem Sterling, again, picking up man of the match with a 9.2 rating. He's not scoring. He's getting assists, but he's picking up a lot of those man of the match player ratings. And as we go into these last 2 games, I am hopeful after winning the last 2 against Dortmund and Aston Villa that we can hopefully simulate these last 2 games and pick up the wins we well and truly deserve. Right guys, and here we are at match day. We're travelling to Liverpool to face off away from home against Everton. But hopefully, the fact that we've just won the last 2 on the bounce, hopefully we can continue our winning ways and dominate against the Blues. And this is the lineup hopeful of doing just that. We've got Raheem Sterling out on the left wing, Aguero at striker, Dembele out on the right wing, David Silva linking up with De Bruyne in the central midfield role. A little deeper, we got Thomas Partey in the central defensive midfield, and then Albert, Laporte, Otamendi and Danilo at the back with Edison between the sticks. Now, how it stands right now is if we win this game, we will move up to 56 points, which puts us 6 points behind Manchester United. Now, we are going to be facing off against them in the next episode, but I have got a little bit of good news. You guys remembered that we only had 4 games in February, and we had 6 or 7, I think, in the month. I think we had 7 or 8 actually in the month of March. Well, we've had a few changes. There is now only 6 games in the month of March. Now, you remember around here, the 11th or the 12th, we were facing up against Chelsea. That has now been moved to the 2nd of April. I also think there was another game in there. I think in this last week, I'm just trying to work out who it was. Maybe Burnley. And I think that has also been moved. So I think there was originally 8 games we were going to play for and simulate for. There's now only 6 games, which means we can play the Liverpool game, play the Borussia Dortmund game, play the United game, and simulate the other 3 games, if that is how March stays. But I'm pretty sure, because we just got through to the next stage of the FA Cup, I'm pretty sure an FA Cup game is going to be thrown either in that week or that week. So I'm hoping that if that happens, maybe one of these last 2 games against Fulham or Bournemouth will change and be moved into the month of April, and then some April games move into May. Fingers crossed that's what happens. But regardless, we've got 2 games to simulate at the end of today's episode. The first one being against Everton. So let's go ahead and get this game. Let's go and get the players warmed up. Let's get this game kicked off. And hopefully City can do a job against Everton. On paper, we should dominate with the team that we've got. Laporte picked up a yellow card after 1 minute. That's not good. Be good now, Laporte. I don't want you getting a red card. 20 minutes in, nothing else has happened there. Coming up to 30 minutes. We're into the 30th minute now, and still nothing else has happened. Laporte went and got a second yellow, so he's off in the 37th. I told him to be good, and he hasn't. We're down to 10 men. We're into the second half. We're nearly 70 minutes in here, and we still haven't scored. Come on, lads. 15 minutes to go. We need to up our game here. We've got minutes to go. Is anything going to happen? It doesn't. The only thing that happens in the game against Everton is Laporte gets a red card. 2 yellow cards. 1 in the first minute. I just knew when he got a yellow card in the first minute, he was going to mess it up and get sent off. He does just 36 minutes later in the 37th minute. Absolutely gutted about that. Another draw under the belt. We drew against Arsenal at the start of today's episode. We've now drew against Everton. These draws are not good enough if we want to catch United. Right, guys, and here we are for the final game in today's episode. We're facing off at the Etihad against the Hammers, West Ham. And it seems to me right now that Manchester United are just unstoppable. Another headline of Manchester United defeat rivals 2-0. They are currently 11 points clear on us. 11 points now. Okay, we've got a game in hand. We win that. We bring it down 3 points. We're 11 points clear. We've got Liverpool breathing down our necks on 53 points. Okay, realistically, we haven't played our 27th game just yet. If we play it, we're going to go up to 57 points. So we'll have 4-point gap on Liverpool. We'll go up to 57. That still puts us 8 points behind Manchester United. We are going to be playing them, which we can bring that down again to maybe 4 points. 5 points, sorry, between us if we beat them. But they just seem to be very unstoppable right now. So we need to make sure. And unfortunately, we've drew so many games. Drew against Arsenal. We just drew then against Everton. We cannot afford to lose or draw against West Ham. Again, we're putting out a solid team. You can see Kyle Walker is back into the team at right back. Yes, he's still got his plaster. I'm going to risk it because suppose he's going to be fully fit in just 2 days' time. So with him being so close to full fitness, I am going to play him and hope that he plays well. And it's more the fact that if we score, we need to be able to keep a clean sheet. And I think playing some of the best defenders that we possibly can is a must-need right now. But we've got Leroy Sané out on the left wing, Gabriel Jesus at striker, Mahrez out on the right wing, Bernardo Silva linking up with De Bruyne in the central mid. Deep, we've got Thomas Partey in the central defensive midfield, then Albert, Company, Stones and Walker at the back with Edison between the sticks. We're at home. We should really get the win at the Etihad. Let's just keep our fingers crossed we do just that as we kicked off and Lanzini scores after 2 minutes. We're 1-0 down after 2 minutes. There we go. KDB scores back to take it back to level terms 1-1 in the 30th minute. Silva's just scored in the 24th minute. We're 2-1 up. Can we get a third before half time? John Stones picked up a yellow card. Walker's picked up a yellow card. And Company, our captain, our big man at the centre-back position, has scored in the 51st. Wow, we are running wild here. Silva scores a second in the 63rd. Mahrez has scored to take it to 5-1. 4 minutes to go. Referee's going to blow his full-time whistle. Wow, we go 1-0 down after Lanzini scores. And after that, well, we absolutely blazed at West Ham. The Hammers will certainly not be blowing bubbles anytime soon. As we battered them 5-1, it's about time we got a result like that. Bernardo Silva picking up 2 goals in that midfield. De Bruyne also picking up a goal. I do believe he's either first, second or third in the top goal scorers in the Premier League. So nice to see him getting back to his scoring ways. Our big man, our captain, Vincent Company at the back manages to score. And then Mahrez goes and scores later on the 76th to put 5 past West Ham. What a result. Right, guys, and here we are back at the Central for the final time in today's episode. I now have advanced all the way to the 1st of March. So we are into a new month. And just before we end today's episode, we are going to take a look at what the month of March holds. So right now, a little bit of a change up again. We had Chelsea in here somewhere. Chelsea's now gone. Chelsea's moved. Oh, no, it was moved anyway. Sorry, the one game... What's been moved? There was a game here on the 17th. Manchester United. The United game has been moved from the 17th until the 4th of April. So we've got 6 games in the next episode. We've got Liverpool in the final of the Carabao Cup. We've got Borussia Dortmund in the second leg. We currently have a 1-0 away goal lead on them from the first leg. Watford at home in the Premier League. Crystal Palace in the quarter-finals of the FA Cup. Bournemouth away from home, and Fulham also away from home in the Premier League. So it's quite obvious, isn't it, guys? We're going to play the final against Liverpool in the Carabao Cup because we want to get another trophy. We're going to play Borussia Dortmund because we've only got a 1-0 lead, and that's an away goal. I want to make sure that we do the job on them and get through to the next stage of the Champions League. And then, of course, we've got Crystal Palace in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. Of course, we want to be playing that to hopefully bag ourselves a place in the semi-finals of the FA Cup. That means then we will simulate the game against Watford, the game against Bournemouth, and the game against Fulham. A little bit worried over that because it means we're simulating 3 Premier League games. And the way United are going right now, we can't afford to be dropping points in the Premier League because United just seem to be unstoppable. As we look into the month of April now, we also have 6 games there. Now, obviously, games in the Champions League and the FA Cup will get thrown in there. But if I was briefly looking at it, we play Chelsea, play United, play Tottenham, and then we'd simulate Cardiff, Crystal Palace, and Burnley. But right now, that's what's looking in the next episode, episode 10. And then obviously we go into April, which is episode 11, into finish off in May for episode 12. And one down. We've finished this series and I can box it off. And obviously you guys will have known from the last episode, I'm at the point now where I kind of just want to finish this, close the book on this FIFA 19 One Season Wonder series. You guys have been voting. Right now it looks like 81% of you want me to do this series again, but in FIFA 20. If I do it again, guys, I will certainly be doing it differently. I certainly won't be doing a full month every episode. It takes too long. Probably do obviously the career modes going forward, so I'm obviously doing a Liverpool career mode. I've got some other career modes lined up for FIFA 20. I'm going to do it like we've done for the Liverpool career mode in FIFA 19 in Season 3, where we play 2 games and simulate 1. I look at the 3 games and I pick which 2 I want to play and which one I want to simulate. I'm going to continue to do that in FIFA 20 in all of the career modes, apart from if we do continue, or sorry, not continue, we restart, should I say, One Season Wonder. I will probably then do 4 games, 2 I'll play and 2 I'll simulate to make it a little bit more of a challenge, because then when you've got games in cup games and stuff like that and Premier League games, you've then got to weigh up which is more important, which one do you need to win more on. It makes it a little bit more of a challenge. But that is going to do it for today's episode, guys. And if you have enjoyed it, please do give it a big thumbs up for me. Don't forget to drop your comments down below. If you're new around here, click that subscribe button. Don't forget to share this video with your friends and family. And I've been Massive Brad. Peace out.